Hey everybody, it's me and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You're going to hear a bunch of background noise because it's 4th of July weekend and black folks are outside having a cookout. So they playing in all the old school club and talking really loud and catching up. So disregard all of that. So today I want to talk about Donald Trump and the whole housing crisis. He's cutting Section 8 and HUD housing. Now I know I'm pretty late talking about this subject, but last week I was on YouTube and ended up on the wrong side of YouTube, and in my recommended videos was like a bunch of videos of men basically laughing at the fact that Section 8 and HUD housing will be cut and laughing at women, you know, oh, this is what y'all get, like just a whole big mess. Now when we hear Section 8 and we hear of HUD housing, we always think of like women with multiple children and multiple baby daddies that live on government assistance generation after generation. You know, they collect food stamps, they this, they that, and any negative connotation that you could think about when it comes to what you think the type of person that has Section 8 or HUD housing will be like. Again, those are all stereotypes, but we have to look at the bigger picture. It's just not, you know, about those one particular group of people. Of course, you have people that abuse the system. Their mama was on Section 8, then their kids is on Section 8, and then it's just, they collect food stamps, like they don't do anything with themselves. It's just one big cycle after another. Okay, we get it. You have that group of people. But just think about it. Think about people who are disabled, who need to have Section 8 or HUD housing. Think about elderly people, like people who've worked all their lives. They're now 65. They get like a, you know, a fixed income from Social Security or their pension of $1,500 a month. Just think about how much it costs to live. Now, I live in New Jersey, the northern part of New Jersey, and I don't know about any other place, but it's very expensive. Now, back in the day when I first got my own apartment, when I was about 22, I had a 2-bedroom apartment, hardwood floors, renovated kitchen and bathroom for $850. This apartment was so freaking cute. It was so nice. Now, if I was to get a 2-bedroom for $850, like the apartment that I would get would just be not up to par. It would be freaking in the hood. It would be raggedy. It would not be updated. It would just be the worst apartment ever. Of course, fast 4 years later, housing has increased. The cost of housing has increased. You are not going to find a 2-bedroom apartment, the one that I have, for $850. And if you find it, it's not going to be in the best of condition, the best neighborhood. It's just going to be not good. So I feel like it's important for, you know, HUD housing and Section 8. Like, we need this. Like, we definitely need this. And you think about it. Someone who makes $35,000 a year, they're going to be bringing home about $2,100 a month after taxes. Like, where do you think that they're going to live? If you were to get a 1-bedroom, you're going to at least need about $900. So that's $900 out of your $2,000. So you may have a car insurance, cable, cell phone. You might have went to college. You may have student loans. Like, that money does not go far. So to knock someone who has HUD housing or Section 8 is kind of ridiculous. And in New Jersey, you have something called the MadamNoel law. Now, if you don't know what the MadamNoel law is, Google is your best friend. Go on Google, find out what MadamNoel law is, okay? So basically, developers are able to build like apartment communities, apartments, high-rises, condos, and basically a certain amount of those apartments or condos or townhouses will be allotted for people that are low to moderate income. There's like low income, and moderate income, and then the rest you could charge market rate rent. Now, so it's like a mixed income type of a place for all types of people live in this one place. And with that, the developer gets major tax breaks at the end of the year. Like, they get major tax breaks. So if a developer builds an apartment community, I think it's 15 years, they could have subsidized housing or, you know, affordable housing on their property for 15 years. Once the 15th year mark hits, then those tenants that are living there have three years to find their own place and vacate. And then they could, those units that were allotted for affordable housing, you can now charge market rate rent. Okay? So, and I think that the mixed apartment communities are better than to have all poor people living in, you know, these housing projects over here, because it's like, how are you going to climb? Like, how are you going to get better? You know, because when you're poor and you're living in a certain neighborhood or a certain housing, you know, complex, that comes with a negative connotation. You're applying for jobs. People see on your resume that you live over here. People know that you live over here. It's a negative connotation. It's like, how could you really get further? I mean, you can, but why do that? Well, I feel like in a mixed community, when you're living amongst, you know, other people that live in the same community, somebody could be paying $3,000 for rent. You might be paying $500. They don't have to know. But seeing that, you know, working class people coming and going and living a life would make you want to do better. This is just my opinion. So I'm all for like the mixed communities of low to market rate rent. But I went off on a tangent about the MadamNoel law. So with these tax cuts, with these cuts that Trump is doing, I know in New Jersey, as of like 3 months ago, he's made cuts to HUD housing. Now, that means that's cuts to the staff. So people that are working for HUD housing or Section 8, you're cutting that budget. So those people, the people that work for HUD housing, are furloughed. So they basically send out a notice to all the tenants basically saying that there's a furlough, the office hours are going to be shorter, maintenance is going to be shorter, it's only going to be one person in the office is going to be closed on certain days of the week. So if I'm working for HUD housing and I'm furloughed, that means that now my pay is getting cut. It might necessarily affect the tenants that much that are living there, but it's going to affect the people who are working there, helping the process run smooth. So now, if the office is closed one day a week, you're not getting paid. Now there's less maintenance people on the property. Now, you figure it's a huge community of HUD housing, subsidized housing, whatever you want to call it, and every day, men and women are outside picking up trash, doing things that they usually do. Now, if you cut the staff, you're going to have less people doing that. So that means that it's a greater chance that the property is going to start to decline. And when you have a large community of housing, each person has to be certified to make sure every year they have to like go in, you have to submit your documents to make sure that you still qualify for that apartment. So if the office is closed one day a week, that means that that paperwork is going to be backed up. So it's going to be worse in the long run trying to catch it up. And I only know this because I'm a property manager. I work in a building, a high-rise luxury apartment building, and a certain amount of our units are allowed for affordable housing. And those people have to submit paperwork each year to make sure that they qualify for that apartment. This is why I know firsthand, like, it's not about, you know, oh, look at these people, group of people, that's what they get, and if they're lazy, they need to work. Look at the bigger picture. You got handicapped people, you got elderly people that are losing, and then people who are working, you know, for HUD housing or Section 8, they are being cut. Like, they're being cut short because of these cuts to the budget. Same with Section 8. Those people are being cut. So now, the normal person that has Section 8, they call the office, they need help with something, it's less staff. That means longer wait times, or, you know, days before your phone call is returned to you. So it's just like breaking the system down. Breaking the system down when it clearly needs to be in place, because let's keep it real, this is a capitalistic country that we live in. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and it's so hard for people at the bottom to climb up and climb up. I mean, we have our success stories. We have, you know, P. Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs, we have Oprah, you got Cardi B, for all you youngsters out there. Like, it's really hard to go from the bottom to try to climb up and get out of your situation. And when you're breaking down the structure, you know, that is put in place to help people, you're putting these people at a disadvantage. And it's like, you're basically, it's keeping these people that are on the bottom in the bottom. How are they going to get out of their situation? And a lot of men that I saw laughing, calling them welfare queens and stuff, let me tell you something, I am a mother. I take care of all my household expenses, and anything that my son needs, I basically purchase for him. Children are expensive. I'm not talking about just buying clothes for them. Old sneakers, clothes, PlayStations. I mean, these kids got to eat. They need things for school. If they have things going on at school, you need to pay for it. Like, there's so many things that go, expenses that go into being a parent. And let's keep it real, a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot, but some fathers don't pull their weight. Do not pull their weight financially. And you have mothers receiving $25 a month for child support, $25 a week, $10 a week. So you're laughing. Meanwhile, what are all those kids are going to do if the budget is cut and they no longer have, the mom no longer has Section 8? What are those kids supposed to do? Because just because you're receiving Section 8 does not mean that you do not work a full-time job. And with Section 8, they might tell you, oh, your voucher's for $1,400, but you make money, so you have to pay $1,000 of that, and we'll pay $400. So now that mother has to come up with an extra $400 that she probably needed for her kids. So it's not funny. It's not funny at all. And all these videos that I've been seeing circulating on the internet of, you know, men clowning women and making negative remarks about, you know, Trump cutting Section 8 and HUD housing, it's not funny. It's not funny at all. It's really not funny. Because like I said, what are those kids supposed to do? You know? And those people that have that government assistance, how are they supposed to get out of that situation if you're cutting the funds to help, you know, that's going towards helping these people rise up, if you get what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense, because I'm thinking so fast and I can't talk as fast as I'm thinking, you know? So it's just so crazy. So I don't know what we have to do as, I don't know what's gonna have to happen for Trump to put that money back into the budget, or what do you call it? What's the word am I looking for? I want to say reshuffle, or, you know, somehow put that money back into the budget. Like I was saying, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's just gonna create a larger problem for the poor. Let's just keep it real. So instead of laughing, let's pray for this country. Let's hope that the money gets put back into the budget. Let's hope that, you know, moms are able to keep their Section 8. And this goes for single fathers too, because my father was a single father and he had to take care of me. So some men are using these benefits as well. And my father always worked. He always had a job. He always had side hustles. So he never was on any government assistance. But there are some fathers who really need that assistance as well. Let's pray that these elderly people don't lose their subsidized housing and things like that. Let's pray that these handicapped people that are receiving SSI are able to, you know, continue getting what they need to get to live, to have a place to live. And just because you have Section 8 or you are living in subsidized housing does not mean that you don't deserve nice stuff, that you don't need to be treated with, you know, correctly as a tenant. Doesn't mean that when your stuff break that you don't have the right to call someone and say, hey, my stove is not working, or my sink is stopped up. You should have that right too, you know, to have your stuff fixed just like somebody else is paying a regular market rate rent. And being a real estate agent, and I see how expensive the housing market is and how you can make 6 figures a year, and by the time, you know, your federal taxes come out, your state taxes, your health insurance, your pension, your union dues, all that stuff comes out, like, you really got half of what you really brought home. And people will hand me their pay stubs and I would see the gross amount would be crazy, and then the net amount, I'm just like, how you gonna eat after you pay your rent? Like, so but did I say that right? Is it the net amount and then the gross amount? You guys know what I'm trying to say. So I don't know, it's from being in my position, working with affordable housing, working in the housing market, working in real estate, it's not good. Like, it really isn't good. Like, Trump cutting the budget for that, it's not good. And it's like he's cutting everything that has to do with poor people. I don't understand. Like, he's gonna run this country into the ground because you think that people that are poor don't want to excel and do better for themselves. You don't think that they want out of their circumstances. You don't think they want out of the hood. And let's not talk, we already established there's a group of people that just don't give a damn. They content, they just want to be trifling, they want to live how they want to live. I'm talking about for those group of people who actually want to move up above and get out of their situations. And please, in my comment section, I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, there's more black people on Section 8 and welfare than white people, or there's more white people. This, we're not talking about that right now. The bigger picture is that if Trump, you know, since Trump is cutting the budget for, you know, these particular programs for people that are poor, it's just going to create a bigger problem and a bigger gap between a poor and a rich, you know. And then you're going to have more neighborhoods, you know, that are going to be, you know, going under. You're going to see more abandoned houses, more slums. And then once you start seeing that, then you know who's going to come to those neighborhoods, buy up those properties, fix them up real cute, and rent them out to people that are, you know, basically yuppies, young professionals with lavish lifestyles. You know how it's going to go. So it's like, are you trying to set it up so that, you know, cut the budget so that these neighborhoods could go down, and so that those people could come in, fix it up, and those other people could come in and live in those neighborhoods? I'm just saying, like, I'm a deep thinker. I think about things like that. I don't just think about, you know, the obvious, the small stuff. Oh, it's ghetto birds, they just taking advantage of this. Okay. Think deeper into what's really going on here. Think deeper. Pay attention. Also, watch the news. Do your own research. You know, look for other news outlets besides the mainstream news, like CNN, CBS, oh, Fox News. Dear God, stay away from them. Go on Tumblr. Go on Instagram. Go on YouTube and find the news that nobody's reporting mainstream. Research. Learn. That's all I could encourage you guys to do, is learn. And once you start to awaken and really notice stuff, you're going to be like, you'll see the bigger picture, you know? Alright guys, I don't want to talk too much. That was just on my mind heavy. And I'm going to see y'all in my next video. Subscribe. Toodles.